Hey, hey, fellow crappers. It's your old buddy and your old pal, R.D. Reynolds here once again. And this time I'm joined by none other than the quintessential Studmuffin himself, Mr. Joel Gertner.
What's up, RD? How are you?
I am so blessed. This is like, you and I, we've hung out before, but we have never done like one of these little video chats or whatever before. This is absolutely a thrill because I have always considered you the single most underrated person in wrestling history as far as a personality.
I appreciate that, and thank you for dealing with my tech issues from a moment ago. For a moment, I thought the completely black screen was as a result of me using ring lighting. By ring lighting, I mean a ring that's set up in an RD gym, awaiting 350 fans, 300 of whom don't show up. That kind of. But
I thought I was the only one that was in shows like that where, well, okay, I have to ask since you brought it up.
yeah,
And I will tell my story first.
yeah.
Because years ago I did independent. I was a manager. I went to a show that literally 2 people showed up at. What's the worst turnout you ever had?
Gosh, we had some doozies. I mean, I grew up on the gym circuit. I grew up, the first however many shows I did were all at the Lower East Side Wrestling Gym, which was, they were essentially recitals, kind of. I mean, most of the people who showed up were friends and family of the workers or people who lived in the building where the wrestling school occupied the lobby level. And so, I mean, I've worked in front of, I guess, 40 people, 45 people. And that's kind of the shows that I cut my teeth on. Guys like, Crowbar and Chris Canyon and Jason Knight were on those shows. Inferno Kid, a lot of guys who went on to bigger and better. Um,
Man, 45 people. It must have been nice.
so,
Brag much?
yeah, some indies were bad. Some ECW shows had some light attendance, but for ECW, light was in the low 3 digits, so it wasn't terrible bad. But there were some times where it wasn't quite the number of people, but it was just kind of the scene and the vibe. There were times like, Woodbridge, Virginia, there was an infamous show that I guess looking back now that it's a story to tell whoever, I was blessed to be on it. But Woodbridge, Virginia was kind of, word got around near the end that we may or may not be getting paid. And if you took the over on may not, then you're a winner. Uh, some people got some rubber checks. Some people, depending on who you are, that's what you got told. Some people got told some stuff that they weren't having and kind of threatened to inflict bodily harm on the promoter. But the show itself, especially in the second half, turned into a real kind of fire festival, just an unbelievable performance art shit show where the boys just, went out there to have fun and, doing Chris Farley bits and doing karaoke. We were literally passing a hat around so that fans would put cash into the hat so that the boys would have gas money to go home. I, as the ring announcer, got on the mic at one point and was like, in between matches, I said, important announcement before the next match. Would the owner of a black Honda Civic license plate XG54CP30XG12 asterisk part, and I just kept going and it was ridiculous, and I went on for about 60 to 90 seconds, and then I said, please move your vehicle, your obnoxiously large license plate is blocking the entrance to the front door for the remaining 300 people who want to come in and pay to see the show. Stuff like that. We had fun. We went into business for ourselves and it was awesome.
Whenever you're not even getting a hot dog and a handshake, you gotta get whatever you can.
Oh no, man, just a pig in a blanket and like a light pat on the back, and yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you being here. We're celebrating the 12 days of WrestleCrap. That was almost kind of an interesting WrestleCrap story in and of itself. I ask everybody this because we're promoting the website. When is the first time you ever heard the term WrestleCrap? Do you remember about timing?
God, I've been part of the internet wrestling community forever, right? Like going back to Prodigy in mid 89.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
33 and a half years. So you're looking at the better part of 1/3 of a century. So my time online predates the World Wide Web by
Mhm.
almost like 6 years.
Yeah.
S- Gosh, probably were you guys were, I mean, you were obviously around in the 90s because I
No, actually we weren't. We started April 1st, 2000.
is that right?
That is correct.
Well then
So
probably
we're just whippersnappers in only 22 years,
oh,
you know.
so then probably since when you guys started then. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I was around. I did CompuServe in the 90s.
Okay. Yep.
I know most people are like, dude, we have no idea what these people are talking about. Actually, most people watching us probably do know exactly what we're talking about. I remember getting the CD or even the floppy disk, you know, where you would get to
Serve
put
was,
that in.
and yeah. And that's where Bob Ryder came from, is stuff like, Prodigy, CompuServe, AOL, and then he got big over at AOL doing the pay-per-views and stuff like that. And that's where you get your kind of onewrestling.com and a lot of the stuff that's still around today. But yeah, Ring Things, I think is that what it was called on CompuServe, Ring Things?
It
Or
was something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
might have been like squares. I forget what they were all called, but yeah, all those message boards, and then RSPW,
Oh
which
yeah,
Rex
absolutely.
Wrestling, which was kind of an internet message board, again pre World Wide Web. Um, but yeah, open to people who either worked with an organization or were at a university that kind of had the internet that could support just kind of that pre-web, web 0.0 kind of vibe. But
And
yeah,
yeah,
you've been
I mean, it's interesting you say that, like a university, because I remember, when I was at university and we had that. I mean, you had to have something that could handle that. There wasn't just some general thing that you went to.
right. Yeah, because even if you had Prodigy in the late 80s or early 90s, they weren't supporting RSPW. They were just doing their own in-house stuff because RSPW was kind of a .org, which eventually, that kind of, that system of kind of suffixes and whatnot got moved into the World Wide Web. But so yeah, you needed to be part of some sort of organization that supported it. It almost sounds like we're going back to that Al Gore, I invented the internet over at over with the military in the late 60s and whatnot. But yeah, it was RSPW was fun. And it was also a lot of people who were by and large either pretty involved in the business or at least pretty informed about the business. Like it wasn't a whole lot of shit to wade through, and it wasn't a whole lot of just, people who are just, watching the product and reading quote unquote wrestling news online, and then just the rest of it is spouting opinions or predictions.
Hmm.
It it was a really good fountain of sharing internal industry information.
Yeah, I detect a tone that you may think there's a lot of waiting we have to go through in today's
In life,
with
no,
Twitter and everything else.
in life itself, you know what I mean? Art imitates life. As has become the media, so has become, I guess, the wrestling media or the wrestling community. I don't knock anybody out there in the wrestling community who's only been watching for a year or two and wants to put their opinion out there. That's fine. There's a place for it. But I just don't like when stuff like that, when people try to, but honestly, I don't care. People can do whatever they want. I've got bigger fish to fry and worry about. But yeah, it was when you were trying to find news back in the day, which is of course what every boomer is gonna, be, in a rush to tell you. But when you were trying to find news, there was a lot less trying to find it and a lot more finding it.
Right.
There is a lot more to wade through now, and there's a lot more kind of having to vet what you see and kind of having to really, make an effort to make sure that what you're getting is of quality again, rather than just somebody's opinions or predictions that are kind of just coming from their mind and don't really have any, gosh, for want of a better word, gravitas to it.
Yeah, yeah, and you always have to be very careful. I think the vetting, as you phrased it, is so crucial now. People go, "Oh, I read this is on Wikipedia." It's like, dude, I've been declared dead 3 times on Wikipedia, so that's probably not the most accurate thing either.
But even
So,
if you get news, keep in mind you're getting the news that is being put out there for you to consume. It's what they want you to know.
mhm.
And I mean, you're never going to get the real news, especially in the world of professional wrestling, because wrestling is a work. It's the
Write
carnival.
that down.
It's predicated on fraud. So to think that you're ever truly in the know, when you're on the outside looking in, uh, is just kind of, that's a fool's errand right there.
Yeah. So since I do have to ask this, what is your favorite WrestleCrap worst of wrestling moment memory? What's your favorite? And it can be anything you've ever seen, or if it was something that you witnessed in ECW, whatever it might be. I'm always curious as to what people's absolute favorite was.
ECW, I think, lended itself. I mean, the worse the better, because I think even any of the stuff we did that kind of sort of was WrestleCrap, we were so extreme that we could almost get away with it. Uh, you know, um, I don't think we ever did stuff that was so bad as the worst 12:52 a.m. experimental sketch on Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? Like, if the worst of Saturday Night Live is still Saturday Night Live, then I think the worst of what we ever did is still kind of ECW, and it's not so far beyond the pale that it's so wrestle crappish that it is an absolute turd, and it never should have happened. There's other stuff in wrestling though that does fall within those parameters. Uh, Herb Abrams' UWF,
Absolutely.
the Black Scorpion angle.
You
Um,
mentioned that. Have you seen this?
no,
Oh yeah,
no,
a book all about Herb Abrams.
I love that
So,
though. Yeah, um, yeah, dude. I mean that whole promotion, not just the whole promotion. I was about to say the whole promotion, especially towards the end. Not the whole thing, because he was just a wrestling fan with
mhm,
money. Not necessarily even the kind of money anywhere near it that AEW is working with, but
right.
his own personal money, a fortune that he had amassed. And I think he decided that it was act two, maybe act three of his life.
Yeah.
I can't speak for him, so I don't know if it was the one or the other, but he just wanted to be one of the boys.
Mhm.
I think he may have thought that he knew better than Vince McMahon how to run a wrestling empire by virtue of reading Georgianne Macropolis's Wrestling Chatterbox. I adore
There's a
her.
throwback.
I adore her forever,
Mhm.
and I adore that. And I got the Chatterbox in the mail too, alongside the Observer and whatnot. But no, some people are meant to kind of be supporters and be promoters in a sense, fans, maybe journalists, um, anything like that, philanthropists in their own way, but are not kind of destined to be promoters. And I think Herb fell into that category. WrestleCrap, gosh, I don't know, man. There's a lot of it. And we probably, ECW probably did put out a decent enough amount of it that
Mm,
I'm kind of just in my own mind, happily just shining up and trying to, sell us bronzed turds. But
right. absolutely. That
But
musketeer thing was primo.
yeah, yeah.
You mentioned Black Scorpion. That's obviously a hugely famous. I love that. My old partner Blake Braxton. That's how he and I met. I did a recreate the crap contest, and this would have been like 90, or excuse me, it'd been 2001, 2002. And so he literally sent me a videotape of him recreating the entire Black Scorpion angle. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. So love the Black Scorpion.
It just kept changing. Like every week it was just
Sure.
wasn't like a building the mystery kind of change. It was a kind of, man, we're running out of ideas, and we own the place and we could say whatever we want, and
Right.
it'll never get bad enough that it should have never happened. And of course it was just terrible. It was just bad writing.
Well, it was funny, like you said, because they would just give you hints that didn't really have to do with anything. They would just throw something out. It'd be like if I said, Joel, the Dunkin' Donuts, 16th Street, Dayton, Ohio. Remember it. It's like, what? What was that? That had nothing to do with anything. And then the payoff, of course, had nothing to do with it either.
No,
Classic WrestleCrap moment. Classic WrestleCrap.
absolutely.
So, hey, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate you hopping on with us and joining the 12 Days of WrestleCrap. Plug away. This is where you get to earn your handshake and a hot dog. So,
um Cool. Thank you. Gosh, plug away. Cameo is where you can get a video message from me about you, about somebody you love, about somebody you hate. That works perfectly. A roast, I do those real well. It's the kind of place I can shout out your homie, your bestie, your girlfriend, your mom if she's young enough, uh, your older sister, anything like that. So yeah, Cameo, and go straight to Cameo. If you get it through Apple, through the app, that kind of thing, um, there's going to be about 30 or 40% cut off the top that
ugh.
Cameo nor I receive. So if you're looking to get a Cameo, please do get it directly from Cameo. Um, Pro Wrestling Tees is where you can find T-shirts if you're not at a convention or a signing. There you go. That's the Aberdeen style. Well, um, which says Quintessential Studmuffin on the back. You can get it single sided or double sided. There are a couple other shirts as well, a couple other SKUs. ProWrestlingTees.com/Joel Gertner. Gosh, you can find me on Twitter at Studmuffin Says, Instagram at Quintessential Studmuffin. I have a YouTube channel, Joel Gertner. You can find me on TikTok at Quintessential Studmuffin.
Oh, wow.
Going to be at the Icons Wrestling Convention for the first time in quite a while on the 17th of December in Philadelphia at the former ECW Arena, the 2300 Arena. You can find me there. And if you find me there, amongst the merchandise that I'm going to be selling, like autographed 8x10s and your item autographed, I've also got a couple of different trading cards that are
Oh,
official.
wow.
I'll be signing there, I think at a discount from how much you'd pay for them online. And also in that vein, t-shirts. If I have your size t-shirt at the convention in my inventory, which there'll be a pretty decent chance of, you can get a t-shirt from me, get it signed or not, and that'll come at a little bit of a discount, but especially the cameos. If you want to get a cameo or a digital message, a video message from me, in the sense where if you want me to cut a personal, specific promo for you with your verbiage, bullet points, whatever, or even if you want to jump in on camera with
Oh,
me
wow.
and cut a promo with me, that's going to be available at the convention on the 17th for a discounted rate from what my cameos are available for online.
That is awesome. And Christmas is coming up. What better gift could you give someone than the quintessential stud muffin?
Of course.
Giving you your own personalized message. I can't think of anything better. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joel. Really appreciate you coming on with us, and I wish you all a very merry day.
Thank you, RD. Great seeing you.